It's Mundo in the Morning. Now on FM at 95.7. Set a preset on your radio. KCMO Talk Radio.
Well, as we sit here the morning after another school shooting, I suppose I'm supposed to come out like I frankly prefer to do and give you some kind of, not hot take, but strong opinion to lean into, to agree with, to disagree with, to love, to hate, but just to listen. But I guess unlike our political class, unlike some of the scumbags and losers that you see on television, I can't do that. I just don't find myself capable the morning after losing an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old in a senseless mass shooting, 17 others being injured, while they're sitting in Annunciation Church at their Catholic school in Minneapolis, praying, and they end up losing 2 of their classmates, and God willing, no more, but it remains to be seen what's going to happen with the 17 who were hurt yesterday. I can't get myself to do it. Now, there are definitely deep conversations that need to be had here. In a serious society, there are deep conversations to be had this morning and going forward once we get all the facts on who this person was. We're starting to learn about that. We know there's a manifesto. We know this person was transgender. We know this person wrote "Kill Donald Trump" on one of his weapons. We know all of that, right? And there are definitely deep conversations that need to be had about what motivated this person. We know there's a manifesto out there. We know that this person was troubled. This person attended the school. I try not to share the names. It may slip out at some point this morning, but I do my best to not do that in these types of situations. But we understand all of those things about this person. Those are the facts right now, right? That's the information that we have about this 23-year-old from suburban Minneapolis. We know this person had recently changed their name. But do we really know why? I mean, even the people that I oftentimes agree with, do we really know what motivated this person? Trust me, it's easy to point to the trans stuff, and there's a conversation to be had there, no doubt about it. But to me, it's also the chicken or the egg. Did this person carry out this type of heinous evil because of some medication they were on, or was this person going through this process because of whatever thoughts and mental illnesses they were dealing with? I don't know the answer. I know there's a disturbing trend here, right? When you look at the Covenant School in Nashville, you look at what happened yesterday in Minneapolis, you look at the individual who car bombed the Tesla dealer here on State Line Road. There's no doubt there's a theme to all this. But I do think it's too easy to sit there and just be like, you know what? It's because of fill in the blank, transgender drugs. There's something deeper going on here. There has to be. Because this stuff's been going on for a long time. I was in 4th grade when Columbine happened. I mean, that was when men were men and women were women. I mean, that was before any of this craziness started up the last few years, or really picked up the last few years. So there's something else at play. And there always is in situations like this. And that's what makes it so frustrating. The political class cannot come on their favorite cable news shows. The political class cannot run to their favorite radio stations and just beat the same old drum. Because you look at a country that's had guns for 250 years. We have more broken families than ever. Religion continues to decline. We don't treat mental illness anymore. We placate it. And yeah, we are pumping, in many cases, ill individuals full of unnatural hormones. Yeah, that's definitely part of the conversation here. Is it the sole answer? No, it's never that easy. It's never that black and white. Just like it's not as simple as saying, well, if only we had better gun laws. Minneapolis actually has fairly strict gun laws. You know what else Minnesota? You know what else Minnesota has? Minnesota has red flag laws, where you can take a gun away from somebody if somebody else reports that this person should not have a weapon. That's always been a part of the conversation, the red flag laws. You didn't hear anybody jumping on cable news channels of a certain lean and saying anything about red flag laws because guess what? Minnesota has them. They have relatively strict gun laws, especially for a Midwestern state. So they do the same old talking points, the same old song and dance. But, you know, what disturbed me the most, beyond obviously the heinous act of evil yesterday, was the mayor up there, Jacob Frey. Jacob Frey basically told anybody who, in the wake of yesterday's tragedy, that wanted to pray, that wanted to share the thoughts and prayers, he basically told those people, many of you, to pound sand. In a reminder that some of these folks can't help but use their political agenda and use their platform to further their political agenda, even in the midst of a major tragedy.
Every one of us needs to be wrapping our arms around these families, giving them every ounce that we can muster. These were Minneapolis families. These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance. These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our country.
When you just can't help but take a tragedy like this and the moments after as the supposed leader of a community to further your own political ideology, I mean, you're a stone cold scumbag. This guy's like half Pete Buttigieg and half Beto O'Rourke. It's like if Beto and Buttigieg had a baby, you'd get Jacob Frey. That's what you would get. And it's frustrating and it's bothersome to me because normal people yesterday were not running to their social media accounts and not running to their cable news channels looking for a political bend that fits their needs. I didn't. You know, I didn't watch any cable news yesterday. When this happened, I said, I'm not doing it. There's nothing I'm going to get out of it. None of it's going to be human. It's all going to be predicated based on what you watch. And you know exactly what the person you're looking at on TV is going to say. You know it. There was nothing that was going to add to my life yesterday from cable news. So I didn't bother. I wasn't going to learn anything. I wasn't going to feel better about the situation. Nobody was going to sit there and say anything that made me think, oh, that's an interesting point. Because all I kept thinking about as the father of 3 young kids were the children, their families, and what they're going through. That's what I was thinking about yesterday. And you'd be naive if you're a parent or grandparent right now to not occasionally have those thoughts. I mean, you know, listen, I don't see my kids in the morning, obviously. I'm getting up, they're sleeping. So I see them every single night, kiss them goodnight, they go to bed. And once in a while, the worst of the worst, God forbid, situation does occasionally pop into my head. What if? It's not with regularity. I don't lose sleep over it, but once in a while your mind wanders. And my mind wandered on behalf of those parents in Minneapolis last night. And then again this morning. And there's no doubt there are real conversations that need to be had in this country right now about what we're doing what we're doing with our kids, why these trends continue on, and why it seems to buck oftentimes the narrative of gun laws in a given state. It's not that simple. It never is, never has been, and it's never going to be. No matter what somebody's trying to sell you, no matter what they're trying to convince you of. But I see a country right now, I see a society right now that is broken, and it has been broken for a very long time. And until we look at that, and that involves every single one of us looking in the mirror here for a second, and stop trying to find the easy thing to blame, it won't get better anytime soon. And if you think there's a politician that comes in and saves the day on this, well, you're broken as well.